Sup everyone, we're back with more Greatest Attorney Chronicles. Time to get to examining stuff, because that's what we do best. Let's check out the elephant in the room, or should I say the guillotine. This grandfather clock is fitted with a terrifying blade that keeps dropping down.
It's modeled on the guillotine, a French execution device. You might have heard of it. And yes, a 40 ask you can chop.
Heads off, you mean?
Others know carrots and parsnips and so forth.
Oh.
If you place a large carrot at the bottom there in the mold, by evening it'll have been cut in two.
Well, the blade must have an almost indescribable edge on it then. It does seem quite edgy. Also handcuffs. An axe, a hunting rifle, and 4 pairs of handcuffs. That's a daunting collection.
Ah, there's a story behind every one of those.
You mean the rifle was a famous killer's murder weapon and the axe was wielded by an infamous executioner? And the handcuffs were once used to immobilize a fierce 4-legged beast when it was arrested? Why would you need 4 handcuffs for a 4-legged beast? Wouldn't you only need the 2? Yeah, whatever. I think you're in the realms of fantasy now, Mr. Naruhodo.
Not those kind of stories, Jimmy.
My name's not Jimmy, it's Ryunosuke.
Silence, Jimmy.
What is that? Oh, he's got a comb. Look at this dude.
That axe was the one I used to chop down the cherry tree at my house. Miss Caidin was nae best pleased. And the cuffs on the left are the ones I caught my first burglar with back when I was a bobby.
What about the right ones? Do you use those for pleasure? Never mind, maybe I shouldn't have asked that. The stories were a little different to those you imagined, I think, weren't they? Yes, to my relief, and in some small way, my disappointment. Nothing over here. There's a couch, there's a table, there's a window. Can't examine the chandeliers. I can examine these. I suppose these are all former governors of Barclay Prison, are they? Either that or former inmates who the governor has sent to the gallows. Oh dear, they all have such severe expressions. I really couldn't deny either possibility. Especially the one on the extreme right. His expression goes beyond severe into a whole new territory.
That one's me.
I'm terribly sorry, sir. Oh, was that Susato that said that? I thought it was Ryunosuke. Oh wait, no, that was Ryunosuke that said that. It is a prerequisite of the job. Is it a prerequisite of the job, perhaps? Having a severe expression, I mean.
Of course it's not. Although, it is taken into consideration.
A lot. Okay, let's check this. We checked out the elephant in the room, now we'll check out the deer in the room. That deer has been staring at me for a while now. It has? Poor thing can't fit through the small hole in the wall, but it can get its head... The poor thing can't fit it through the small hole in the wall, but it can't get its head back out again now either. It's giving me a woefully imploring look. It's not real, Mr. Naruhodo, it's stuffed. What? I mean, yes, of course it is. For a moment, I thought it was another assassin sneaking in via the ventilator. I don't like to say, but I think perhaps you need to reread The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Listen, we were part of that case. Alright? We don't need to reread the book because we were part of the original. They might have had the manga, but the anime came first. It's a very large cabinet full of papers, isn't it? It's labeled Inmate Register, look. And all the files are in alphabetical order.
That's 50 years worth of records of Barclay's inmates.
Almost looks like he has a vent on the back of his outfit. Oh, also the front and his shoulder, apparently.
Whether or no they're left alive after serving their term. All the details about the crimes they committed are recorded in there, like an epitaph, you might say.
A record of crimes and punishment. How dispiriting. And yet, this man seems to be enjoying tea and biscuits as he talks about it. You're surrounded by death long enough, you'll learn to make jokes and enjoy them to an extent. Yeah, whatever. Oh wait, I already looked at that. What am I looking at again? No! Ah! Go through it all. The desk? Nothing for the desk. What about this? Or this? Nope. Just this left. I never have expected to find a parrot in prison. Must be the governor's pet. I don't think that's a parrot. Given where we are, it's hard not to see the poor creature as a prisoner. My parrot! Didn't they kill me? Has the bird learned to mimic the plaintive cries of the inmates in the cells?
Oh, no. He was one of 3 siblings, you see. And he still calls out the names of his 2 brothers like that all the time.
Right.
Didn't they kill me?
God, I cannot come up with a parrot voice. Squawk!
Aye, I hear you, laddie. You want your dinner, eh? Didn't they do it?
Okay. Kinda whack if you ask me. Bum, bum, bum. We got anything here, maybe? What do we got? Anything worthwhile? Maybe this? Governor Caidin, would you have a look at this?
Oh, wouldn't you rather have a wee handcuff biscuit?
No thanks. I'd rather you just cast your eyes over this.
Or maybe you prefer real handcuffs, eh?
No, I'm not into that. Please. Lovely offer, though, but no thanks.
Well, shoot.
Alright, let's talk. Chief Warden Vigil. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison.
Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job. No doubt about it, he was a fine warder.
Sorry, did you say was?
Aye, he doesn't work here no more, he left the job.
Oh my! When was this exactly?
There's a question, when was it about? It can have been much less than 10 days ago now.
What? 10 years ago? Oh, I thought it said 10 days. Oh, shit. That was a gross misinterpretation on my part. He stopped working here 10 years ago?
Aye, as I mind it. Do you ken? I have nae heard the fellow's name in all that time. I so worry if he's gone missing though.
But Miss Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. So the husband's been keeping a secret that big for 10 years? Governor Caidin, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here?
That's important, is it?
Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. Oh, shit. I wonder if we're... Oh, man. I wonder if we're gonna get to check out the Lowgate Cemetery. That seems plausible. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago, you're telling us? What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter.
You mean he was dismissed?
It it was after a particular walk.
Sorry, a walk?
Aye, that's our word for it in here. A walk to the gallows.
An execution. It was the professor's execution, wasn't it?
It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see.
Oh my god, it's because he came back to life. He had to walk because of that. He got dismissed because the professor came back to life after being hung on the gallows.
Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
I'm sorry, but I can now reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of his post.
But why wouldn't Miss Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here.
I will not ken anything about that, I'm afraid.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
And what would that be, Ed?
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's?
My thoughts exactly. Mine as well. I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm not at liberty to answer that.
That's as good as answering, though. I see. Alright, last up, let's talk about Mikotoba. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. Do you ken?
Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
My father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of Saint Sinners. It's still in use today.
Saint Sinners? It's come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there.
Mikotoba and I have to used to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms.
For more fresh material, I suppose.
Aye, and we used to sit in here for hours and gab on about the section and all sorts. Oh, it takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course.
How charming.
Oh, we done here? He was a good fella, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese.
Because of Genshin Asogi, I suppose. Huh. That's everything.
Well, I can't tell you anything else.
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one more thing. One moment before you're away in.
What are you getting?
Should I have it in there somewhere?
Oh, is it the file for Vigil, maybe?
I found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison.
What is it?
That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course.
Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's now the original mind.
Alright, the harsh reprimand incurred by Mr. Vigil 10 years ago that resulted in him losing his job as Chief Warder of Barclay Prison. Alright. Thank you very much, Governor Caidin.
Well, in return. Do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed.
Well then. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found out about Mr. Vigil. What will we tell Miss Vigil, I wonder? Aw, you... Wait, no, I can still check the court record. Daily Vigil was relieved of his post with immediate effect for violating Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisoners, or for prisons. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial are fully revoked. 25th of June. Aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict professor, the professor, just prior to his execution. Details of this case are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. Barry Caidin. Wait, is that the name of the current? Hold up. Is that the same name? Oh yeah, it is. For some reason I thought he had a different first name. Additional notes. Indications are that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. Alright. La dum dum dum. Bum, 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 na, na, na. What do we got here? 1st of November. Back again. Tadaima. Hello, you two. No, it was you. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all. Ah, so that's what the delicious smell is.
Greetings, my dear fellows.
This man's just going through different shades of primary colors. Next up, he'll have yellow. Oh, wait. Then again, he's a blonde naturally, so I guess that would just mean that he has done every primary color now. I don't know... Dane, I don't know what to say about this.
You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your face in any case. Turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application.
Oh my.
Pray tell me, what of our water friend? Have you garnered some new information?
Oh, yes, something very surprising, in fact. Though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest. It most certainly isn't, but still, we discovered that...
Sholmes!
Oh, it's you. Drop everything, Sholmes. This is more important. Gina? What is happening? What? I can't Adam and Eve it. Gina, you good, girl? What's happened?
Clearly a very grave matter indeed.
And before we go to the graveyard after he says this.
For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever.
It's the boss. What do you mean? Inspector Gregson? Oh, has he gone to Paris? The boss he's dead. No fucking way. No fucking way Gregson's dead. What? They just found his body, shot with a pistol. What? But, Inspector Gregson? He was murdered? No fucking way. This has got to be a joke. No, Gregsy.
Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story.
Oh, fuck. He's actually dead? There's no way. Gregson, of all people. I mean, I guess that would make sense as to why this game is set up Gina as the next detective, as like a detective's apprentice, because now she's probably gonna have to be the, if Gregson's actually dead, then she's probably gonna take over as like the main detective of this game. Holy sh! He can't be dead, right? Wait a second. Okay. Think, Toby. Think. Okay, so... Shit. Sorry, I'm piecing stuff together in my mind. Okay, so the paper we got at the end of the first game, it had 4 names on it. It had Kazuma, and it had Gregson, and it had A. Shin. A. Shin, I believe, was the true name of, Giselle Brett. And she died. And there was Kazuma, who we thought died, but he wasn't actually dead, and he got taken off at Hong Kong. We have no idea what happened to him in between when he got dropped off in Hong Kong and when he appeared in London. And now, assuming Gregson is actually dead, that's 3 of the names on that list that supposedly died. Wait, no, I just remembered. No, was it? Was the last name of those 4, frickin' Wilson? John H. Wilson? Which would mean that 3 out of the 4 are dead and Kazuma's the only one alive. And he's only alive because people thought he was dead, but he actually isn't. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk. My brain is going a million miles per hour at this. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson he was really shot? If he was shot, does that mean that she's just overreacted and thinks he's dead? He's probably dead? I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene.
Where did this take place?
A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street.
The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then.
The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Guinea. This poor girl. Poor Gregson.
So who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is?
They got him already. Already?
They've caught the shooter so soon.
A witness reported something was going on and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Who? What awful person did this? Please don't tell me it's someone called Mr. Vigil. Oh, still can't believe it myself. Gina?
Who?
It was the Reaper.
No fucking way. Von Zykes got arrested for killing Tobias Gregson? Wait a minute, you don't mean they've arrested Lord Von Zykes for it?
That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss.
No! Lord Von Zykes. There's no way. This is all too hard to believe. Are you quite sure, Mr. Straight? It's Barrick Von Zykes the police have arrested.
I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they were all saying it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses?
Clearly, we're gonna have to defend him. God. I fear what's gonna happen
God, it's gonna be hard to frickin' defend Von Zykes while Gina is... We're gonna be defending the person that Gina thinks shot Gregson. So that's gonna be conflict. That's gonna cause some conflict. God. Who the hell's gonna be the prosecutor? Don't tell me it's gonna be Kazuma. Because he's the only other prosecutor we know, so like... I would guess that he would be the prosecution, but... So you mean... There were actually multiple witnesses? I don't even remember if I read that line. I'm so shook right now. They had the gunshot, apparently. And when Olak got to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room. But there's no way Lord Von Zykes would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it either. Poor Gina. God, she is like so shaken up by all this.
Thank you for informing us, Mr. Strayed. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry.
What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come in all. As soon as you can, you gotta help. I plan to. We're not gonna let a case like this slip by.
It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves.
Mr. Sholmes.
What use is there in being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming, hmm? How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson!
Even Sholmes is pissed.
Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations.
Of course, yes. We will too.
Would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intended to do so anyway. Until later, then.
Oh, shit. Inspector Gregson, dead. And Lord Von Zykes arrested. Bruno, Susie. I've called you a hansom. It's waiting outside. Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Miss Usato? Yes. We are going straight out of here. Your location has been added. Fresno. Oh shit. We're gonna go to prison first. We'll check out the actual scene of the crime later. First off, we need to talk. We need to talk right now, buddy. Holy shit, this game has taken a turn. And I thought the last case was freaking hitting me like a truck, but then this stuff came out of nowhere. There he is. Lord Von Zykes behind bars. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Von Zykes.
Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I'd like to be, with the last person on Earth I'd like to see.
I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was...
Go home. This has nothing to do with you.
But... Forgive me, Lord Von Zykes, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him now. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. I agree, wholeheartedly. You must help us with our investigations, please.
There's really nothing I can tell you.
What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case?
This? The art isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with the suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance.
Oh, Who might that be?
Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. I had a feeling if it was an acquaintance, it would probably be him. Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Von Zykes never minces his words. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. I mean, he's behind bars. I think that would wear almost anyone down. Okay. What happened? Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Von Zykes? What happened? How much do you already know?
We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street.
And that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested.
We were told that there was no one else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot.
Then you're well informed. And there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself.
But the gunshot, obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? Oh god, please don't tell me he's about to pull a...
I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. Okay, good. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers.
So he doesn't actually know what happened. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
I don't need to answer that.
Oh.
After all, you're not representing me.
He's gonna need a lawyer, though. We're going to represent you. You don't get a choice in this matter. I mean, you do, but we're gonna have to make sure that you make a different choice in your planning. Let's just say that. Who's going to be representing you in court, Lord Von Zykes?
Anyone other than you, I should imagine.
Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet?
Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reapers, I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
And the only 3 that have survived are the ones that we... Surely not.
I assure you no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole.
But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you?
It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that.
What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought.
It's a letter to inform me of his safe travel arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean?
Yes, so it seems. Your stooped little Nipponese friend, for example.
Yeah, what about Gina, though? She's still inside of London.
You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day.
Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now.
He is.
Man, there's gonna be a day when we see this man actually crack a smile, and it's gonna be the most uncanny thing.
So it appears our conversation has run dry.
There was a 2-second silence, that's all.
Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you.
I was wondering, Lord Von Sykes, if you'd like... I'd be happy to advocate for you. No. Oh, shit. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in the court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer, however. I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But please... I have no intention of engaging your services. Shit. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. Well, then we just have to fill in said chasm. I'd appreciate if you don't visit again. Sorry, not gonna be able to heed that request. Then neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper. Yeah. And find out more about Lord Von Zykes and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Can we go to the prosecutor's office, maybe? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Not yet, at least. Alright. Next up is Fresno Street. Sorry. Getting a drink of water before we do this, because this is going to be a doozy. Is he actually fucking dead? Oh no. Room on Fresno Street. Oh god. Oh, his corpse isn't even here. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden, rented old room is where it happened, then. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere. Is that a... Oh, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers is gotta be taken right out so you can look underneath it and all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stacks, too. Blimey, ain't you lot never gone over an house looking for dough when the owners are out of town? Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh, so you've turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes has only just left. Lucky you missed it. You're lucky you missed that. He went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking that out of his and then just scarpered. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah. He didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Odo. You're a lawyer, right? Yes, why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are ya? Yeah, I had a feeling she wouldn't approve of it. Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. I think it's more than just that case. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Von Zykes really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah? Go on then, Arrow, get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. Alright, first off, I noticed something right off the bat. There is a red wig here. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. I know, right? Oh, funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! It is! A bright red hairpiece. And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that it's Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And it's such a flame-colored red, too. Do you guys really have to joke about the fact that fucking Gregson, who's dead, wore a wig? Yes, there's a color we've come across that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. I mean, it is a clue, but I don't think jumping to the conclusion that Gregson wore wigs is the best. Okay. Someone's very haphazardly nailed these boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least let in some light. You could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Oh, what's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it, in a way? Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Von Zykes playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. Could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I don't know, I can't really see Gregson playing with it either. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful, after all, in a way. Make sure to examine that. So there's the gun. This is presumably the murder weapon, then. Oh my! It is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. There's only one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot. No. If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone who might know, I think. Okay, maybe... excuse me.
Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir.
Right, perhaps I'd better leave you to your work, then. Excuse me.
If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard.
I've interrupted some deep thoughts here. Okay, we won't talk to the people here. They are currently in great mourning, and I can't blame them. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, there's wax spattered on the wall behind. Look. I suppose if a bullet had hit it. It does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh. No, that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Top of one, like, so that they must have shot Gregson from a very low angle then, if it hit a candle up there, or maybe not a very low angle, but at least quite a low one. Can't examine the door. Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir. Poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. I think Gina's the only one that can. Must take a lot of willpower for her to investigate in this state. This looks like some sort of notice board or something. It's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Mr. Naruhodo, look! This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates. Yes, in fact, they're all the sorts of documents that only a detective can normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. And this one here. Oh yes, the advertisement, you mean. To the Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room is clearly interested in it for some reason. Chimney? An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather. Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. No, that's right. It's one or the other. Oh, it's a photograph stand. I was kind of pointing out something else, but yeah, sure. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Ah. What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. They are. Look, Mr. Naruhodo, quickly. Oh, God. Why do I feel like this woman's familiar somehow? Of course she's familiar. We met her only this morning. Ah, it's Miss Vigil. This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Miss Vigil in here? Oh, that is a good question. To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say I have no idea either. Okay. Okay, we've examined this whole room. We could talk to Gina right now, but I want to examine some stuff first. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Miss Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's how I'd put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. So it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think? Maybe. Doesn't look like there's anything else to examine on this for the moment. The helmet of this charming police officer appears to be a little worse for wear. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if someone has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too for fun? What's that? It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny, though. It couldn't be a key for a door, not at that size. So what is it for, then? Huh. Interesting. This looks like some sort of key. It has an opening at the bottom, though. Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key. What's a little key like this doing in the figurine of a policeman in the first place? And what's it for? Good question. Very interesting. The gun, maybe? What's this? I suppose this must have been the murder weapon. Oh my. It is real, I suppose? I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know. Someone more familiar in firearms, huh? So I guess we're not going to get much out of that. The candle, maybe? Anything? Ah, there's some black marks here, look. Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. Huh. And we only got one thing left. Oh, well, not much to examine here. Okay. Man, this has been developments and a half in this episode. Next time, I think we'll talk to Gina and see what's happening here at the crime scene. Until then, adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, mata ne.